Man,
All right, Jim, everybody. Let's go ahead and kick off here when it's the top of the hour. And as people are filing in, I think we can get the conversation started. Welcome everyone here and who might be listening after the fact. I'm T. Wells, and this is episode 7 of the DAOcast. Back at you after about a month away. Last time we were here in the Discord, it was Dosh and I covering a retro on last year, 2022. And we spoke for about an hour, maybe went over a little bit, but we have done some light post-prod and actually got it down to like 15 minutes with some additional on-screen assets as a nice piece of content to commemorate the achievements from last year on Gnosis Chain and the broader Gnosis DAO ecosystem. So that will be live on the Gnosis Chain YouTube in the next 24 hours. Keep an eye on that if you'd like. Again, if you're listening now or after the fact, you're interested in doing your due diligence on Gnosis, interested, perhaps a GNO holder, and want to see everything that was done last year that leads to a lot of the opportunities and exciting stuff that's going on around the ecosystem this year, then be sure to check that out. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube. We're also going to be streaming today's show from the Discord over to YouTube, so there'll be a live component there, as well as highlights that we cut after the fact. So if you want to help spread the message here, head over to Twitter and just retweet the latest post by Gnosis Chain. See if we can get some folks in here to listen live. And of course, it's always fun if people have questions to ask after our interview. Today, of course, we have the pleasure of speaking with Andreas of Fileverse. And so I'm going to give a little intro here to the show, a little bit of context, and then I'm going to invite Andreas to introduce himself, tell us a little bit about Filecoin, and get into the details there with him about the project. Also, we're going to have a live demo of the Fileverse tech today, so stay tuned for that. And of course, we'll wrap up the hour maybe with some updates around the Gnosis chain and Gnosis ecosystem, as well as some Q&A should there be questions. So GM to everybody. Again, welcome to episode 7 of the DAOcast. So now turning to our guest for today. Andreas, before I ask you to introduce yourself and say a bit about Fileverse to get us started, I just want to say how excited I am to be speaking with you today and have a chance to sort of spread the word about what you're building and raise awareness of the types of communications tooling that is out there. There's a general sense. I had a conversation with some folks at a different DAO yesterday about the feeling around some people in the industry, some parts of the industry feel as though crypto is getting boring, quote unquote, right? And I think to a certain extent, this is like the result of, the sort of vestiges of DeFi summer so far in the rearview mirror. We're still doing DeFi and very financial centered parts of the industry. Not that there isn't innovation going on there, but there's a feeling that sort of we're settling into some sort of new normal where you have lower APYs in the bear market and sort of minimal innovation around certain yield oriented activities. And the point is, this is part of the reason why I'm so excited to be talking about Fileverse, because what y'all are doing is so far outside of quote unquote the norm in crypto. It is the communications and social layer. I think really that Vitalik and others have spoken about. It is pointed directly at things outside of the sort of DeFi space specifically. And so I think it's really cool. I'm really excited to speak with you about this and get people over to Fileverse to check out what y'all have built. But I'm going to go ahead and mute up here for a second and allow you to take the mic, Andreas. Welcome. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? How did you find your way into crypto, and then your origin story maybe for Fileverse? GM, man.
GM, everyone. Thanks for having me on this talk, guys. Actually, I'm quite excited. I'm excited because it's you, as in Gnosis chain, but I'm excited also because we're starting to. We've been working on this new dApp that I'm gonna show you in a bit for quite some time now, with the donations we received from people in Gitcoin. And yeah, we're actually at a stage right now where we can go public with it and actually share people. We're pretty sure that security wise we're pretty much there. So yeah, we're making our first steps with this new DApp, and I'm super excited about it. So yeah, a bit about myself. Maybe not just myself. I'll talk about also like the journey we had with the other co-founders. So I'm Andreas. I know it's kind of frowned upon in crypto maybe, or it's a counter indicator, but I'm a PhD student in the UK in Oxford. I'm doing AI and information security, specifically human control of AI in computer network exfiltration. It's pretty cool, but I think that my heart really lies in Fileverse and in Web3 more generally. Yes, by the way, I like the term Web3, so you might hear me say that quite a bit. I know there's been a bit of a debate on whether crypto is better than Web3. I think it maybe speaks to more people than Web3, so that's what I go with. So I started maybe my crypto journey in 2016, I would say. Like everyone else, just ordering drugs online. No, I'm kidding. It was just, I was a very curious kid, let's say. I was a pretty big fan of Thor, and kind of it ticked my brain in the country I was in at the time. I'm not gonna dox myself too much, but it wasn't. Internet connections were not ideal, you know. You were very much spied on, and yeah, I started exploring Tor, and it led me to Bitcoin, which then led me to Ethereum. I think Ethereum, it really spoke to me. Turing complete uh, chain and adding just basically scripts to blockchain architecture that I had kind of understood with Bitcoin, but I wasn't still there at the time. Was really kind of mind blowing. And so I completely dived into it. Like everyone else, I was just buying shit coins here and there. And then I discovered, I'm trying to remember who it was, who was my first kind of crypto shiller. I wonder if it was ETH Research, the blog already at the time that was up. But I remember like reading a lot of technical blogs and yeah, I fell in love with Ethereum, so I went completely in. By 2018, I was already like building some crypto projects of my own, joining some projects, helping out on a volunteer basis and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. That's my journey. The others, so we're three co-founders behind Fileverse, VJ and Solamast, and we were all actually around the same time, 2016, and in 2021 we started Fileverse, 2022 actually. So last year, super late, around April, and we were all like okay, not whales in terms of volume, but we were pretty consistent donors on Gitcoin. We really love the project, and you know, building public goods, rewarding public goods, people and teams working in the open, free open source software, all that was really something that spoke to us. So when we started Fiverr, when we had the idea, we were like, okay, there's no other way to do it and to do it in a bottom-up way, if you want. Build completely on in the open, depend on people telling us if they even want such a dApp, if they don't give a shit about it, if they. Sorry, can I swear in this in this talk? I'll try to keep it to a minimum, but since English is not my first language, kind of fill in the blank space, with a few shits here and there.
Of course, man. That's really cool. Would you mind if I draw you out a little bit? I'm curious, what sort of projects did you contribute on early on? I think, when I look around the room here, people who are even on the call, I know some folks from multiple different DAOs, which I think is really cool about the
Mm.
industry, is sort of the ability to contribute in different places. And yeah, so what have you been up
Yeah.
to before Fileverse? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the first thing that I ever got involved with was atomic swaps. I was joining Skype groups at the time, and with a bunch of people trying to figure out atomic swaps and how to exchange tokens from one chain to the other in a trustless way. And this like is pretty mind blowing because it was, it's discussions that they have been kind of.
Andreas, I think we just lost you, or perhaps you muted.
Oh, yeah, yeah, my bad.
No worries.
So yeah, atomic swaps was the first thing that I got involved with. Afterwards, I think it was I was doing some shadow, how do you call it, ghost writing for some projects, technical writing specifically. I used to work at SingularityNet. It was a AI/crypto project that still exists today. And then I started a project called Alethea.ai. We were kind of the first people doing NFTs with some AI functionalities in 2018 and 2019, and it was pretty cool because it was at least what I was doing at the university at the time. I was focusing on deep fakes, and I saw that tech, and it kind of blew my mind. And I was like, okay, we can definitely do something pretty cool in crypto with this. So this is kind of how it started. And then yeah, Fileverse. But Fileverse, I must say, is really the project that is taking the most amount of my heart, mind, and everything else.
Very cool. Yeah, no, and I definitely want to focus on Fileverse. Before we get specifically to that, though, and I know it's directly related, is Gitcoin. What was your path to discovering Gitcoin? And maybe tell us a little bit about, what do you think is valuable public goods, and then the grant success that you all have raising capital for Fileverse.
Yeah, yeah, perfect. So what led me to Gitcoin? Good question. I don't remember what the first thing, how I first discovered it. I think that it was some post by Owoki that I was following already at the time. So Kevin Owoki is the founder or co-founder of Gitcoin, and he was someone that I quite quite liked because the narrative, or at least the things that he was talking about, sounded quite different from the rest of the crypto Twitter bubble I was in, at least. And one of those things that the guy was highlighting was going back to the history of open source software, which is something that I love reading about, but I've written quite a bit about that as well. And there's kind of always been this problem in open source software and free open source software specifically, which is sustainability. And that problem of sustainability, of having enough people working on the project, making contributions, taking time off from their own work or social life in order to contribute to a project where nobody knows that they're contributing to it, they're not getting compensated in any way, and they're seeing like multi-million dollar companies being built off the back of them and like three friends based in Alaska and Madagascar who are just coding because they fucking love what they do. It's pretty mind blowing, it kind of breaks a lot of the assumptions that people have that if you don't have strong enough financial incentives, people are not going to join this or not going to contribute to this or build this and stuff like that. So the 90s, especially, has been, and the early 2000s was like this just explosion of cooperative work, of people coordinating and just building what you can call really public goods. So, from Linux to Apache to most of the basic elements of your phone today, your smartphone, your browser, and stuff like that, were built by people that were just doing that because they loved it. And a lot of those groups actually either fragmented or fell apart, and the tech that they were working on was either completely abandoned or it was co-opted. So today, you have huge tech companies. Microsoft was maybe the first one after like shitting on open source software movement for a very long time. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it's kind of an apology letter by Bill Gates in the early 2000s where he says we were completely wrong about open source software. It's actually the way forward. And they were at the time they were like, I think even suing people working on FOSS. So yeah, so a big sustainability issue. People would not the projects would fall apart or they would get co-opted by big companies that would, come in, give them a big ass grant or a lot of money, include maybe three, four developers from their own company in the core group developing the software, and then everything would kind of start smelling different, smelling a bit corrupt.
Yeah, yeah,
And yeah, so Gitcoin was something that to me it spoke a lot to me because it kind of provided a bit of a solution to that, at least a partial one. And it met it was built up with a lot of ideas that people know well today, like quadratic funding, quadratic voting. And yeah, it was basically a fairer way for people that want to continue working in free open source software to kind of receive money without getting co-opted, with possibility of getting a good indication that X amount of people are actually super passionate about what you're doing, and they're giving you just a few donations, but with a kind heart of big donors. This means actually a lot of money for you. So yeah,
totally. Really like
this is the yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I love the sort of the background there, context. I think it's really important to establish right that significance of Gitcoin. That's awesome, man. You guys have had quite a bit of success there.
Yeah, yeah. So by the way, just a parenthesis, I kind of have the tendency to talk a lot. It's something that my co-founders kind of give me shit about. So stop me at any time because otherwise I'm gonna tell you the history of the internet uh, since the
Hey,
60s.
man,
So
no, we're here to have a good chat, and it makes life great. So, no, continue, please.
okay, perfect.
Rounds have you
So
guys been
yeah,
on Gitcoin?
yeah, our journey on Gitcoin, honestly, it's been mind-blowing. I don't want to throw too many flowers at ourselves, but I am gonna do that. So we started in April of last year, and we thought, okay, we want to just present a POC, see if people resonate with it, and show them that we can actually build that, and we're not here to joke around. And so the basic idea was that we wanted to show that the space and the Web3 tech stack was mature enough to actually go beyond financial or hyper speculative applications. And we wanted to do that with kind of one of the most popular activities on the web, which is file sharing. And we're also, quick parenthesis, until like 2009, I think, or 2010, like a third of internet traffic was just BitTorrent traffic, just people sharing files from one to the other, all peer to peer. And yeah, we're here to kind of revive that in a
Interesting.
significant way. Yeah. Fun fact today. So yeah, we started in April, and we were completely mind blown. The POC resonated with a lot of people. We got, I think, our first Gitcoin round, so it was GR13. We got 8,000 donors, which was hugely significant for us because it just, it takes an idea that's in the mind of three dudes around the world, and it makes it something much more concrete and something that doesn't exist just in the ether of some people's minds. So we got 8,000 contributors. People were already messaging us, showing a lot of support, offering to maybe work on some stuff with us, and we were so like almost emotional, definitely emotional actually, and encouraged by this that within 5 days of the end of GR13, we shipped the first DApp. It's a beta you can currently access still. It's a beta .fileverse.io. Super basic. The idea was, can we do what WeTransfer does, but with a complete Web3 tech stack? And the answer is yes, and you can do it in a way that is actually, in my opinion, quite better than WeTransfer. You have better encryption. You can retain kind of the pseudonymity of the person uploading and the person receiving. So no leaking of metadata, no need for an account to be created. Just come to the DApp. Whether you have a wallet or not, you can just upload, and within 2 seconds, it's encrypted, and you can share the link with anyone. You can either share the IPFS hash or the link to the Fileverse app. So yeah.
Andreas, you still there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. No, I actually just wanted to say, just to reiterate, that was exactly, I had no context. I sort of went to the beta, and I did drop a link in the general chat, or the
Hmm.
the general VC, um, and that was exactly what I saw. In other words, I was like, wow, this is WeTransfer, but with just better, because it feels like it's more secure under the hood, and it has NFT functionality. It has different functionality too that's native to Web3. Really,
Yeah.
really fucking cool.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for trying it as well. So yeah, basically we kind of continued building on it, and so we wanted to kind of appeal to two audiences with this. We wanted to, I'm not gonna say that it's a mistake what a lot of people in Web3 are doing, but it feels like the non-Web3 users and just the average internet user, web user, is kind of ignored by a lot of projects. And we didn't want to do that. So when we released the current DApp, we both gave the option to people in crypto to connect their wallet, send stuff, not only by just sharing your link, but you upload onto IPFS an encrypted file. You can share the link with a friend, or you can even token gate it. So you can put, let's say, you upload a CSV or just manually input some addresses that you know are owned by your friends or by your DAO community members, and everybody receives is airdropped on Gnosis chain a access token. And this access token, super basic, is just NFT that you can customize however much you want. Put a name, put some metadata in it, and it gives all those addresses the possibility of actually decrypting your file. And it kind of serves as a on-chain go ahead and find it. So this is for the crypto they don't love crypto or Web3. They kind of talk a lot of shit about crypto, and I wanted to show them and show like the people that are, they're computer scientists, they're cryptographers, they're people that are just looking for a new take all the time, that can do a really amazing stuff with the current stack, with those values of missionlessness, with anonymity, with good encryption and all that. So we wanted to give them on-ramp to the stack that did not involve the typical, hey, you need at least 0.01 ETH and a wallet in order to do this and this and that. So yeah, that was kind of the logic behind the two options you see on the DApp today.
That's sweet. I've been dropping a couple screenshots, folks, if you're interested in, again, in the voice chat here, so you can sort of see a bit about what the UI looks like as Andreas is describing it. Yeah, I would say two things. So the first would be, I guess, just a comment, and the second, and if you have anything further to share on that, but it's like, I feel like, yeah, there's definitely benefit in being surrounded by cynics, crypto cynics, right? It definitely forces you to think in a certain way that isn't always the case when we're just surrounded by other people that are as equally as bullish as we are.
Yeah.
So that's that seems healthy. And the other side was just, this makes me curious here. It just, how did you then, continuing the story along, how did you intersect with Gnosis Chain, and sort of what is the
Mm.
role that the ecosystem plays within and for Fileverse?
Yeah, yeah, great question. So first, your comment, absolutely, man. The not only does it give you kind of a, you know that saying that if you want an answer to some question on the internet, don't just ask the question, just post like the opposite, or like a wrong answer or a wrong statement, and people
Right.
will correct you very quickly. It's kind of the same with being surrounded by Web3 skeptics and cynics, and they always come at you with very legit criticism, but it gives you a lot of energy to prove them wrong, and to kind of consider them always in the back of your mind, and not just ignore them and just build on for your little um, I'm losing the term here, but the echo chamber that you're in crypto. So yeah, that's just about your comment. Um, for Gnosis chain, look, there are many reasons. I'm trying. I don't know how to say it without sounding like a fanboy, but I've been a pretty massive fan of the whole team behind the Gnosis chain, and same for my co-founders. Like we saw the birth of the multi-sigs, we saw the birth of Gnosis, we saw the birth of Safe, of CowSwap, of all those things. Martin is a guy that we've interacted with, we've talked to, and we respect immensely, because he's kind of this figure, one of those few figures I have in mind when somebody tells me, okay, who should I follow on Twitter to kind of get the proper idea of the serious stuff happening in Web3. Martin is kind of one of those people. So it started like that. We had a lot of love for Gnosis already before we we even started Fileverse. And when we started, it was pretty obvious for us that for the things that we're trying to do, we should not just have everyone incur like high prices and high transaction costs on any activities that they go through. So Gnosis chain came to our mind. At the time, I think it was still like early days merged with XDAI chain, and what sealed the deal was Okay, it's a bit geeky, but I don't know if you know about Dark Forest, the project.
Sure.
Yeah, it's this game, this fully on-chain game that was at least my first introduction to zero knowledge proofs. And I'm a huge fan of OXPark and the others, and it was so smooth. Um, the gameplay and just it started like that. It also like really love the people at POAP, and this was also a big plus for us. We wanted to be part of this elite group of true good builders that are building super useful tools or tools that are innovating and bringing like new tech to people in crypto. So I think this was the start of it. And then, by now there are so many things that confirm our decision and confirm why this was a good choice. First of all, the functionalities on the current dApp and the dApp that I'm gonna demo in a bit. Um, it's not stuff like I'm gonna swap some tokens. It's not I'm gonna send a lot of money to this person. That in the current web works super smoothly and super fast. So file sharing to 1,000 people, file sharing or collaborating with 50 people on the same document, all those things require a lot of interactions between people, and you can't do that on Ethereum, even though Ethereum, it's kind of our baby daddy chain for us. So Gnosis was perfect for that. We tested it out. Everything was super cheap, and it allowed us to just improve the UX of our users for our users immensely. So you can actually subsidize a lot of the deployments or transactions that people do on chain because it is so cheap. So this is kind of something that we've coded into the smart contract that I'll demo in a bit. And one last point, um, by now I think there are maybe like 111,000 validators on Gnosis chain, and this is crucial. There is no way that you would have picked some project or some chain that didn't commit at least as hard as we do to decentralization, to censorship resistance. And yeah, Gnosis chain is on top of the list on those factors.
Oh yeah, no, I love it, and yeah, it seems to be a perfect match there. And I want to sort of get out of your way now, man. If you want to take it away with the demo, I've dropped enough hints here and like screenshots. I'm sure people would love to see what's in store there.
Okay, perfect. I want to preface, let's say, the demo with just a last little point about Gitcoin. I think it's important because the demo I'm gonna show you is really something that came out of the support we got through Gitcoin and through some grants. So, I talked about GR13, but every Gitcoin round since all the way to GR16, we've been like one of the most successful grants. We were in the top five every time. By now, we have 14,000 donors thanks to Gitcoin, and we received grants from ENS, Filecoin, Near, A16Z, and all those people found us and managed to donate to us thanks to Gitcoin. And this demo is kind of for them to some extent. And the public release that's going to happen in the next few days is is gonna come with a lot of love for them. So yeah, let's go. Let's start this. Share your screen. Okay, just give me a second just to make sure that it works properly. Okay, share. Can you see everything?
Okay, so it's coming up right now. I see Discord.
Okay. Oh, you can see the Discord, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. You see my you see like the URL bar and stuff?
It's thinking here. Mine is actually sort of going in and out. I'm not sure. Can anybody else share what they're seeing right now just to make sure we got the right thing up here?
Yeah, I see I see Discord as well. I can't see the URL bar though.
Okay, cool. Okay, let's start then. So I'm gonna start from the beginning, as I should. We wanted to make this super simple. The first release that we're doing of this DApp, which is called Portal, by the way, is going to be really catered to the core OGs in Web3 and people that just want to explore the functionalities of their wallets beyond financial transactions. One of the big narratives we have internally is your wallet. One of the biggest opportunities of Web3 is that it gives millions of people a key pair, and it allows a lot of people to have peer-to-peer interactions with like highest levels of security through, it's kind of like the rebirth of public key cryptography in many ways, and it does a job of PGP, or it kind of achieves what PGP never achieved because of lack of adoption. So you arrive on Fileverse portal, and what we're gonna do right now is, and this is a UX that is quite similar to Gnosis Safe. For those of you who have deployed a multisig, you're deploying a smart contract when you do that. This is exactly what you're doing here with Portal. So you arrive on the creation page and you have just a two-step process that will ensure that the thing that you're going to deploy is yours and no one else. One of the thought experiments we like doing at Fileverse is, what if we all die tomorrow? Can our users continue to use Fileverse and do whatever the fuck they want with it uh, even after that? And the answer is yes, with what I'm about to show you. So you arrive, you pick your chain. The default chain is Gnosis. Right now is Girly, so there is Girly, there is our own testnet, and there is Safe, and there is, sorry, and there is Gnosis, basically. And you arrive, you click, and you push it. Super simple. Not much else to do. Push it, it's kind of a terminology that we use. It's more developers, but it might be something that we change afterwards. So here, your wallet is being notified. You're being asked. It gives you some details about what you're deploying, and you need to sign. You need to accept that. And what it's doing right now, and you have a little message tagging along while this happens, is a smart contract is being deployed on Gnosis chain. So Fileverse is your door to the on-chain world, your personal portal for on-chain exploration and coordination. Cherish it. So very similar to deploying a safe, a multisig. This is now deployed. Last little thing for the deployment to become. So the deployment is complete. Important. Why? Because every single thing that you're going to do from now onwards is going to be end-to-end encrypted. Just a little bit of context for that. I know some people might say, okay, UX-wise, this is maybe not ideal, but when you create a Google Drive, when you create a Dropbox, when you create, those things, your files are completely in the clear. You're depending on those big companies and their servers give you the assurance that things are encrypted and things are safely stored. The reality is that you go on some raid forum today on the dark web and you're going to find the personal details and files of millions of people. With end-to-end encryption, that is simply not possible. How do we make sure that you know that? Do your keys, download your keys. Congrats, now you're the only person in the world that can actually encrypt and decrypt any of the files that are going to be stored next. So super important for us. We want to show that this is completely yours. Nobody else can access it. Nobody else can save those things. And good luck to hackers. So I'm just switching tab here because I prepared kind of a portal for you guys. In retrospect, I should have probably not called it Big Boy Demo. It should have maybe been a Gnosis demo, but my co-founders might give me a bit of shit for that. But anyways, so this is it. So we try to make this very intuitive and very simple. So here you have a huge box that tells you drag and drop your files or just browse the files that you currently have on your device. And can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I heard like disconnection sound. So you arrive here. This is imagine your Google Drive, but with a different UI and with a much better tech stack. So this is a smart contract. The smart contract behind it just manages your files in the sense that it's kind of a record-keeping smart contract. It keeps the hashes, the encrypted hashes from the files you've uploaded onto IPFS or onto Arweave or just simply onto your own device. It allows you just to do some record keeping and to do some access and access permissions that are enforced on chain. So I'm gonna get into that in a bit. You arrive, you want to upload your file, you just click on it. Okay, I'm gonna upload this. And here you're gonna decide, okay, do I want this to be a public file or a private file? The public file is pretty interesting. Because it's not going to encrypt your file. And right now it's just going to be uploading it onto IPFS. It's going to create a content hash. So typically when you go check for your files on Google Drive, the way that you go search for a file is you're going to try to find which centralized server where has your file, and you're going to everything is based off of some IP address, and on IPFS is completely different. Everything can be queried or indexed based on the content hash. So now it's uploaded, and here you're going to transact. Quick pause here. Right now, the whole DApp is gasless, thanks to Gnosis Chain. The next iteration that we're already working on will be also completely signless, because we don't want this to just feel a bit clunky or slow for people that are used to just fast interactions on everything they do on Google Drive or iCloud or stuff like that. So here you sign. What's happening right now is simply you're updating your smart contract. Again, it's completely yours, and it's gonna just keep a record of the encrypted hash that you've uploaded onto IPFS. So if the whole Fileverse team dies tomorrow, you'll still be able to just take all your files, go onto a different UI or stay on the same UI or upload everything on Google Drive. We give you the option to be completely self-sovereign here. So I've just uploaded this file, can copy it, and now I can share the file with anyone in the world. Here you have some analytics, how many files you've uploaded, how many people have visited your portal, how many members you have, etc. I'm going to go a bit more into the details of what all those things mean. Here you can find all your files, if they're public, if they're private, if they're only for members, blah, blah, blah. So I've uploaded a file. There are other things that you can do here. First of all, you can just look at things by folders, images you've uploaded, audio, 3D files, etc. You can do something pretty cool on the UI here, which is we don't want people to just see this as a Google Drive where you just upload stuff and encrypt stuff. You can also just collaborate with people directly. So let's say that you're a fan of Excalibur, or you're someone who just does a lot of high-level abstraction presentations or talks with people, or just you're developing a DApp, you're developing a new project, whatever. You come here, you call it demo test. Hey boys. And you can just whiteboard all you want. You know, it can be a huge canvas for you to collaborate with other people on, and it's super cool. It's super cool because all of this afterwards, you can either download it onto your device or give it a title demo, and you publish it. By publishing, I mean I'm gonna encrypt it and upload it onto IPFS. Let's say I want this to be private. Here you decide the level of privacy you want. Anyone with the link can decrypt it, or only my collaborators can access, edit, and live collaborate with me on this file. Collaborators are, your really close circle. So anyone on your team, anyone in your company, stuff like that. Members, I'm going to explain it in a bit, but it's, let's say you're a big DAO, you have 10,000 NFT owners, and you know that they're real members of your DAO because they have the DAO NFT. This is going to be for them, or just general public that wants to join your project, your portal, your DAO. Or here, token enabled, meaning anyone with some GNO or anyone with ape or anyone with a punk will be able to decrypt and access that file. So here, continue, use my own token or an NFT, or I have a list of addresses. Here, the list of addresses, if you click on that, you're going to be able to just completely you're gonna create an access token, send it to 1,000, 10,000 addresses, and they're gonna have access to your file. So for now, I'm just gonna say, anyone with a link. It just was encrypted with your end-to-end encryption key. Your key right now, it's on your device, but it's also stored locally on your browser. So you don't constantly need to come back to this page, enter your end-to-end encryption key, blah, blah, blah. It's just on your browser. It's super secure. And now the file is being uploaded, and that's it. So super cool. Okay, little error here happens with when you're on staging, when you're on the dev environment, and that's it. So just a quick note. As I said, this is a smart contract you own. This is end-to-end encryption keys that are completely yours. And on top of that, we're really keen on making people understand that we're not trying to lock you in to anything. We don't want you to just be our users. We don't want you to have difficulty porting your data somewhere else. This is a Web 2 world. This is Google Drive, this is Dropbox, this is iCloud, this is people that have as a whole business model make people stay and force decisions onto them, force bad privacy and security onto them, and make it super difficult for them to look for something better for the most personal data they have. Because all this data is super personal, it can be very private. We want you to know that you have end-to-end encryption, it's your own smart contract, but on top of that, you can modulate it as much as you want. So right now we're uploading on IPFS by default. You can use Arweave, you can use your own cache folder, you can use your own device. You don't need to abide by any of the storage protocols, rules, or security that we propose. You know, you can change it very easily with the UI we built. Last little point about how self-sovereign you can be with the portal. The UI that you're currently seeing, even if our servers completely go down, even if the Fileverse team disappears, this is something you can continue to access. This is a static website that will exist forever because we've stored them. I don't know if you use Uniswap, for example, you don't need to use the Uniswap website. You can just upload, you can use any IPFS gateway and just access the static website that has been stored onto IPFS. Same thing with Portal. You don't need to ever interact with some of our servers. You can just run this locally and you have this perfect UI that's interacting with your own smart contract and that is encrypting everything end to end. Okay, I've showed you uploading. I've showed you public, private, depending on what you want. I showed you the Excalibur thing here, the whiteboard. You can also collab live with people. What do I mean by this? When you go today on a Google Doc, T-Wells, today you shared the Google Doc with me, was cool because we can both work on it. But here, the really cool thing is that you don't need to actually require someone to have a Fileverse account or whatever. You share that file with, let's say, 10 of your friends, and you're going to be able to see up here, instead of seeing, T-Wells or dosh@gmail.com, you'll just be seeing ox27377 or dosh.eth live writing next to you, So super cool, maintains people's pseudo-anonymity, doesn't force them to actually create an account, and just allows everyone to collaborate with the maximum amount of security, privacy, and anonymity. Here, hello world. I just created a title and I'm going to publish it. Okay, private, let's try this again. Continue is being completely encrypted with your own keys. It's uploaded onto IPFS. There is a content hash that has been stored onto your smart contract. Just to make sure that your smart contract is updated. And that's it. Perfect. So two of the things here, those are plugins. And there are a lot of other plugins that are coming. And this is something we don't want to just develop by ourselves. We want to open it to anyone. You don't like us, you don't like my face or my voice, just take Fileverse, fork it, take it somewhere else, upload or develop the plugins that you want, etc. You have your own nodes. You can just generate AI images with Midjourney, and every image you generate, it's a big problem. Usually, it just fills your own computer with a lot of junk. Here, you can just upload it onto IPFS. So that's it. Files here, folders here. Here you can add collaborators. Let's say I want to add Dosh and T-Wells. as my very close collaborators that can also upload to that portal and edit things alongside me. Here you have some analytics, how many visits, downloads, files, members, and in settings, you can just customize this as much as you want, put some socials, blah, blah, blah. Last little point, and I stop here. This is a private view of your portal. This is what you would have, with your Google Drive, let's say. We wanted also to show something different than what current Web2 collaboration websites do, so like Microsoft Office or whatever. We wanted to also give you a public view of this portal. So here you can click on View as a Member. And what it's going to do is bring you here. And this is something where you can share your portal link with anyone in the world. You can post it onto your Twitter. They won't have access to the private version that I showed you just before. They're going to have access to this, where over here, they're going to see only the public files that you have decided to upload and show the world. So here are some of the stuff that I uploaded. And they'll also see there are some private files where for me to access them, I need to become a member. To become a member, I click on it. It will mint a membership NFT for me on Gnosis Chain, and I'll now be a member of this portal. I'll be able to check files that are also accessible for members. Then there are also a bunch of files that nobody else can access but the portal owner or portal owner and his collaborators or her collaborators. So one last cool thing to crypto and the NFT world. I don't know if you guys have any 3D NFTs that you depend on OpenSea to render it and to actually show you stuff. Or if you want to share a 3D file with someone and they don't have Blender on their side, they won't be able to open the file. It's kind of a mess, and there's no easy way to visualize stuff. On Fileverse portal, you can just upload a 3D file, share the link with someone, and what they'll see is this thing completely rendered for you. So you have an NFT you want to share with people that is a 3D file, you are working on your 3D files and want people to be able to visualize it without having 10 softwares on their local machines that manage to render them, just use Fileverse. Super easy, and you can do a lot of things with it. And you've uploaded the file here. Let's say you want to share it to your Twitter. It will have some information here, and you can even chat with everyone that has access to the file. Hey, super cool 3D file, man. And that's it. So here, the chat is completely end-to-end encrypted as well. It's between you and the people you gave access to this file to. And just a little bit of it's a bit of a technical detail, but the chat and your how do you call it? And let's say if you start a collaboration doc here and you don't finish it, it goes into draft. And the way that the tech works here is that you can find the draft again thanks to gun.gs. So we're not just using IPFS, Arweave, and stuff like that. Gun.js is actually super decentralized. It allows just peers interacting with each other without ever needing a server between them. And it allows you to kind of keep that file encrypted and available between the peers without requiring it to stay onto some server. So yeah, I think I'm gonna stop here. So this is again the public view. This is if you share a 3D file with people, you can chat with people, only with people that have access to your stuff. And again, this is your own UI, super cool. I'm not gonna, show everything because there's a lot coming. But yeah, you deploy your portal, you have 100 megabytes for free, and then you have 1 gigabyte for free if you do some proof of humanity stuff, like show that you have an ENS, show that you've donated to Gitcoin, show that you've shared at least 5 files and stuff like that. So 1 gigabyte that comes with your portal for free, and then you don't want to use IPFS or Arweave, just use your local machine.
This is
Okay, I'm stopping here.
Yeah, man. No, so let me just say it is top of the hour, so I want to be mindful of people's time. I'm happy
Yep.
to stick around and do some Q&A. Part of me wants to like reschedule another show already. This is there's a lot to get into here, and I think we're equally sort of blown away by this. But rather than me doing the talking here, I would like to. I mean, let me ask you really quick. Do you have a moment to stick around and do some Q&A, Andreas, or do you have to jet?
Yeah, I can stay. I can stay a bit longer. Sorry, I just realized that I talked for a long time for this demo. It's just I was so conscious of not missing some details, and really, as you heard, I was just trying to nail the point that this is completely yours. This is nobody else's, and it's full self-sovereignty of your data right there. So yeah, I can stick around a bit more.
Awesome. No, I think there's a lot of there. And so it's not how much you were speaking, but how many things you had to touch on, I think. So yeah, I would encourage people then, if you have questions, to either drop them in the VC chat here for the General Voice channel, or if you'd like to unmute. We have a small group of people here, and I know there might be some people with questions. So yeah, Michael, if you'd like to unmute and ask a question, go for it, man. Okay, so yeah, I guess the question is what you just showed us currently live, or is there an estimated day for launch, or is it yeah?
Yeah, thanks for the question. It's going to be live in the next few days. So we're just finalizing a few things. The live version that's coming out actually tomorrow after tomorrow is going to be private beta. Just DM us on @Fileverse on Twitter, or DM me on @Cyberpeer. And I can give you some private beta link. You'll be able to play around with exactly what I showed you. And we're just doing that for 1 or 2 weeks, the private beta, because we want some more feedback, and because we're waiting for a complete audit by the Nethermind team to make sure that we've nailed security, functionalities, and all that.
Fantastic. Yeah, I see Dosh just dropped the link to y'all's Twitter. Definitely, if you haven't followed Fileverse, I would just chime in really quick and say, I know Billy is here, and I don't know if Billy, if you're able to unmute, but we'll just put it this way. This is the type of thing where we've seen how many projects with far less substance raise millions of dollars. I mean, the fact that this has been built off of Gitcoin grants and 100K is just, I just got to say, it's just like that itself is remarkable, man. So yeah, cool.
I'm
Thanks
gonna
a
say
lot.
that I'm blown away by this. Like the technology that you're doing here, because I would consider myself like a junior dev. Like you're using meta transactions, you're doing zero knowledge, you're doing like 3D analyzation, you're doing like all kinds of stuff with the interface that runs so smooth,
Mhm.
right? With signatures instead of transactions. I'm like, dude, this is crazy.
Thanks a lot. Honestly, I'm very glad to to hear that. I'm blushing a little bit. I must give a shout out to VJ, who's my co-founder and kind of like the lead architect and genius behind those things. And yeah, managing to fit in all those functionalities in a trustless way, in a way that doesn't interact with servers, was definitely a big challenge. But yeah, we think we managed it, and like you said, it was purely thanks to contributions on Gitcoin through donations and some grants. So we're glad that people will get to see it, and the first few ones that saw it to be happy with it.
I'm not entirely sure the question here, Mikhail. Was there GAN.gs, or was this, maybe this was misunderstanding? I'm not exactly sure what this is referring to, but is there anything
Where's the
GAN.gs?
question? Oh yeah, gun.js. And what's the question?
Oh, I think he was asking about that specifically.
Okay, can I see the chat somewhere?
The question is, what is gun.js and like what kind of tech is it?
Okay. So gun.js, so you can find it. You can go on Google, write gun.eco, gun.eco, is the website of the project. It's completely open source, and it's basically it allows you to do some peer-to-peer interactions without the need for a server. So it allows you to either share files, have a chat with 1,000 peers, and it's completely up for grabs. Meaning, you can just take that software or integrate it into your app, make it completely yours, make it independent from the rest of the gun.js environment. And we've been using it. So it's not something that you can consider necessarily a Web3 team. Actually, probably not, because they're not in crypto. But for me, it's a Web3 project and framework, just because it speaks to the same ethos. It's people should be able to encrypt their own stuff with best encryption out there. People should be using WebRTC when they want to interact with their peers or do stuff online. And they basically nailed how to do this in a pretty trustless way. And I think that their audience, or the audience that Gunda.js had in mind, was, freedom fighters, people that are um, being persecuted for their political opinions, or for because they're journalists, investigative journalists, and stuff like that. And it speaks to what we're trying to achieve in terms of security and privacy, and complete permissionlessness. So yeah, we integrated them. We are very glad that we did. We were big fans before that even, and it allows you to do stuff like have drafts not be uploaded onto IPFS while people are still interacting on it, or have chatting between peers without ever needing a server, and without requiring people to download 50 things on their device. So check it out. It's very cool. And yeah, I think the way that we integrated it makes the UI quite smooth to a big extent.
Yeah, to be honest, I think that any type of file-oriented stuff before on-chain has not been the same UX as on Fileverse. So whatever y'all did to make it smooth like that, yeah. Again, I'm not a technical person, but I'm friends with Billy. I ask him all sorts of questions. But I don't know if there's anybody else who has questions here for and about Fileverse before we conclude. But feel free to either drop a question in the general voice chat or unmute and ask away. So in the meantime, I did have one quick question about, again, as a non-technical person, if I'm coming on here, in terms of file or like data storage limitations, you said you had a gigabyte to start with, and then you can upgrade. Is that correct?
Yeah. So you start with 100 megabytes, and this is just something we did for Sybil resistance. To get to 1 gigabyte, you need to just either prove that you have some on-chain activity that proves you're not just a bot, or just play around with the DApp a bit. So there is a bit of gamification there. And there you can, once you've reached the 1 gigabyte limit, you can upgrade, meaning you pay in crypto or you pay otherwise, and you get some extra storage space. Or, if you don't like us, and that's it for your interaction with the Fileverse world, you can keep the same UI, the smart contract, and you yourself choose a pinning service for IPFS, or just upload stuff and pay directly yourself on Arweave, or just upload stuff on your own device. It's completely modular. Do what you want. It's yours. For the sake of simplicity, we do provide an option for you to upgrade through us, and yeah.
Got it. Very cool. Well, I don't know, Dosh, do you want to hop in here? Any questions? Anybody else want to ask?
I already had a conversation with Andreas, and I already asked all the questions while I was being blown away. So I'm covered on that end. But yeah, if you guys want to wrap it up, I know we're a little bit over time. It's up to you guys. If there's any more questions in the chat, please ask away.
Happy to end it here as well, guys. I don't want to drag it on for too long for people. It's late here. I know that people are kind of all around the world. So.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure, and look forward to seeing that launch soon, folks. If you haven't followed Fileverse on Twitter, make sure to do that. I'm sure it'll be folded into the Gnosis chain announcements and messaging as well. So thanks everybody for coming. GM, hope we had a good time and sort of an exclusive demo there to what's coming. Help spread the word, and thanks so much to you, Andreas, for joining us.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me. Thanks for bearing through this demo, and hope that you all try it out, deploy your own portal, and yeah, just DM us for the private beta, and you'll be able to try the public version very, very soon as well.
Fantastic. GM, everybody. And GM Andreas, everybody have a good rest of the week.
GM and GN. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.